Welcome to the world of Universal Basic Income, UBI, a topic that's been gaining traction in recent years as a potential solution to poverty and inequality. But what exactly is UBI and why is it so appealing? Imagine a world where everyone gets paid just for being alive. Sounds too good to be true. Well, it's not as far-fetched as you may think. UBI is a government-funded program that provides a regular, unconditional cash payment to every citizen. The idea is that with this guaranteed income, people would have the financial stability to pursue their dreams and live their lives with dignity and freedom. Did you know that the idea of UBI dates back to the 16th century? Thomas More proposed it in his book, Utopia, as a way to eliminate poverty and create a more equal society. Fast forward to the 21st century, and UBI is being tested and implemented in several countries around the world, such as Finland, Canada, and India. But UBI isn't just a pipe dream, it's a real policy being considered by governments and economists. And the idea is gaining momentum. According to a survey by the Basic Income Earth Network, over 70% of people in the US and Europe support the idea of UBI. So, are you ready to dive into the world of UBI? Let's take a closer look at the pros, cons, and everything in between. The basics of UBI. So, how exactly would UBI work in practice? The specifics can vary depending on the country or region, but the basic concept is the same. Every citizen would receive a regular, unconditional cash payment from the government. This payment could be set at different levels. For example, it could be enough to cover basic necessities like food and housing, or it could be set at a higher amount to provide more financial freedom. And unlike traditional welfare programs, UBI would not have any means testing or work requirements. Everyone would receive the payment, regardless of their income, employment status, or other factors. There have been a number of experiments and pilot programs involving Universal Basic Income, UBI, in various countries around the world. 1. Finland. In 2017, Finland conducted a 2-year pilot program in which 2,000 unemployed individuals were given a monthly unconditional payment of €560. The results of the pilot showed that while UBI did not significantly reduce unemployment, it did improve recipients' overall well-being and reduce their stress levels. 2. Canada. In the 1970s, the Canadian province of Dauphin conducted a income pilot program in which residents of the town received a guaranteed annual income. Results from the pilot suggested that it had positive effects on health, education, and work incentives. 3. United States. In 2016, a pilot program in the city of Oakland, California provided a group of low-income residents with a basic income of $1,500 per month. A report from the Economic Security Project, which funded the pilot, found that recipients used the money to pay for housing, food, and transportation, and that the program helped to reduce financial stress and increase recipients' sense of security. There have also been several UBI experiments and pilot programs that have been discontinued due to various reasons. Here are some notable examples. 1. Netherlands. In 2018, the Dutch city of Utrecht launched a pilot program that would have provided a basic income to some welfare recipients. However, the program was discontinued after a change in the national government led to a shift in priorities and lack of funding for the program. 2. United States. In 2019, the city of Stockton, California began a pilot program that would have provided $500 a month to a select group of residents. However, the program was discontinued after 18 months due to lack of funding. 3. India. The Indian state of Madhya Pradesh ran a pilot program in 2010-11, where 6,000 people in 8 villages were given an unconditional cash transfer of 200 rupees, $2.80, per person per month. The program was discontinued after the pilot phase, due to lack of political support and lack of funds to scale it up. Kenya. Give Directly, a non-profit organization, ran a 12-year basic income experiment in Kenya, where they gave cash transfers to people in Kenya. But the program was discontinued in 2019 because the cost of running the program was not sustainable. It's important to note that the discontinuation of these pilot programs does not necessarily mean that UBI is not a viable solution. These pilot programs were not long enough to draw definitive conclusions, and were not implemented on a large scale to be able to measure their true potential impact, whether positive or negative. The pros of UBI. Now that we've got the basics of UBI down, let's take a look at some of the potential benefits of this program. First and foremost, UBI could provide increased economic stability for individuals and families. With a guaranteed income, people would have the means to pay for basic necessities like food, housing, and healthcare. This could help to reduce poverty and inequality, as well as improve overall health and well-being. But UBI isn't just about survival, it's also about thriving. With a guaranteed income, people would have more freedom and opportunity to pursue their passions and dreams. They could start their own businesses, go back to school, or take time off to care for a loved one without worrying about how they'll pay the bills. In other words, UBI could give people the freedom to live their lives on their own terms. And let's not forget about the potential economic benefits of UBI. Some economists argue that UBI could boost economic growth by increasing demand for goods and services. It could also encourage entrepreneurship and innovation, as people would have the financial security to take risks and start their own businesses. The cons of UBI. As with any policy, there are also potential downsides to UBI. And it's important to consider these when evaluating the viability of this program. One of the main concerns about UBI is the potential for increased government spending and taxes. Funding a UBI program would require a significant investment from the government, which could lead to higher taxes for citizens. Additionally, some critics argue that UBI could lead to inflation, as the increased spending from citizens could drive up prices. Another concern is that UBI could disincentivize work. If people have a guaranteed income, some may choose not to work, which could have negative consequences for the economy and society. It's also important to note that UBI alone won't solve the problem of unemployment caused by automation and technology. Other measures should be taken to accompany it. Finally, there's the issue of implementation and maintenance. Establishing a UBI program would require a significant amount of bureaucracy and administration, which could be costly and time-consuming. Additionally, there are concerns about how to ensure that UBI payments are distributed fairly and how to prevent fraud or abuse of the system. It's important to weigh the pros and cons of UBI and consider the feasibility of implementing such a program. While UBI has the potential to provide financial stability and greater freedom for individuals, it's also important to consider the potential downsides and challenges that would come with it. In conclusion, UBI may be the hot topic of the moment, but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It may work in some cases, but not in others. The idea of providing a basic income to citizens has its merits, but it also has its challenges. From funding to implementation, there are plenty of obstacles to overcome. But just because it's not easy, doesn't mean it's not worth exploring. It's like climbing a mountain, it's tough, but the view from the top is worth it. Whether UBI is the answer or not, it's worth considering as one of the tools in the toolbox to combat poverty and inequality. If you found this video informative and engaging, please leave a like, write a comment, and subscribe to Kopfkino for similar content. See you on the next one.